Brothers and sisters in faith and in humanity, what's awesome? Peace be upon all those who genuinely seek peace and work for it. In the name of God and with thanks to Him, I start. If any of us to come on the stream would not please God, then it's on me, but I also have no control over what some game developers may include in their games, and I hope to have full control soon over which games to play, if at all. My name is Muslim Gamer TV, and this stream is, hopefully, me hitting level 60 finally on my wizard, who is soon to become my main character and class in the game Black Desert Online, as developed by the Korean developer Pearl Abyss and published in the West by Kakao Games. My usual necessary disclaimer is that I am Muslim, but I do not represent Islam as a belief system or Muslims in general. I only represent myself. And unless clearly and specifically stated, when I'm talking about verifiable facts, historical or scientific, my opinions are my own, and especially my mistakes are my own. Occasionally in my streams, I talk about various subjects ranging from religion through science to obscure subjects like conspiracy theory and transhumanism. I'm almost always inspired by something that happens in games, so it's rarely, if ever, completely random. If you choose to watch my streaming or archive streams, then I hope I've prepared you very clearly for what you may expect. Finally, this stream is for mature audiences only. You have to be 18 or older to watch this stream. And I'm not going to talk any longer or introduce anything else. I'll just get right to it. Hopefully I can find a free spot here. I am changing my grinding location from the previous couple of streams. Let's see, there's already someone here, so I'm going to try to be a gentleman and move to another server. That's all. Let's see how this thing goes, if I can hit level 60 soon. Okay, almost there. Less than 1% left for a level 6. I mean, I estimate quite a kind. I mean, even for me. Level 63. Level 60, and I find it mind-numbing. You know, on the, it's either this or on the striker, basically repetitive strain injury and, you know, feeling stressed and stuff, you know, unsustainable levels of stress, hectic gameplay. Yeah, it's quite repetitive. Insanely. I mean, there's a little bit of, not exactly skill, but sort of position management and stuff. So be at the right spot, get your area of effect spells properly, and to cover as many mobs as possible. But with that, as a tank, Warcraft, trying to even if a simple dungeon and just trying to keep aggro on all the mobs and protect your party members, or you know, as a healer, same thing. You're always checking your party members' health. And, situation, you're like over geared for the content. You don't have to worry about mana, of course. So playing, you know, challenging content, mana. Well, even in easy content, specific. I mean, actually, all healers are like that. There's like basically the heals that are fast, you know, very quick, very quick spell, but it's also mana intensive. And yeah, if you're a bit under geared, if you keep using such a spell, you will run out of mana too fast. If your tank is, you know, not really using any mitigation, running willy-nilly and pulling, right, you know, after a mob after another, and also they are not like, you know, geared enough for the content either, they're taking too much damage, then you start running out of mana because you try to save his life by healing so fast, using your fast but expensive heals, and you know you are kind of, it's another level of stress. It's stressful, and I can't say, I mean, I don't really enjoy healing, especially with tanks like that, irresponsible, inconsiderate tanks like that. But you know, it's a sort of a change. It kind of just gives you an idea about how things go when you're healing, for example, and you're not like super overgeared. As a tank, for me, I'm more at home with tanking. Enjoy it more. And yeah, it's kind of, you have to keep your eye on your healer especially, and your other party members and so on. It's anyway, change the subject while we are so close. Oh my god, is it? Oh my god, that was quite epic for me personally. Long and epic. Wait, let's place and the register. So, wow, man. Wow. Definitely feels good to finally get done with this. It's a relief. I have to admit, it's a relief. I mean, it's more of a, that's the thing about the grind. When things are such grind fests, it's more of a relief than feeling, you know, a sense of accomplishment and what have you. Anyway, so right, so yeah, I can confirm for future reference. I can confirm that this was the fastest speed of leveling up for me. Um, so okay, so basically out of so which ones did I try? I tried yeah, just for reference. So this is my gear. I've got 3 head Grunel, 1 tri-Grunel here, the helmet, and a full Asula set. I've got tri-Baristaff, tri-Steel Dagger, and a Tet God Respera. Alright, so my Awakening AP is 184, and defense is 274. My level was 59, and I tried Fados, and I tried also I tried the Blood Wolf Settlement. It's a bit, you know, 190. It's over 180, over 184, but not by much, you know. So, and I know that to be efficient, you have to be over this recommended AP. Anyway, I tried this one, and I tried also the Chira Ruins. These guys. This was better than this. So even though this is supposed to be inefficient, but because of how the mobs are, you know, close together and stacked, you know, compared to that one, and because this one was much more contested also, this was better. So this performed better than that. I also tried Schultz. Schultz guard was just impossible because of how overcrowded it is. Like, you know, at least this one was very, very crowded here, the Chira Ruins, but you could kind of, you know, squeeze yourself into several of these areas and kind of find a few mobs to kill. But Schultz was very, very overcrowded, and it's not that big, so it was dangerous to really threaten others. This rotation was pretty good for me for the Sausans. It wasn't that busy, and I was able to. It was alright, but it wasn't that. Yeah, it wasn't. I wasn't doing good experience. I think it was the worst in terms of experience, and it's a nightmare. It's a weight limit nightmare. The weight here, this weight limit. Yeah, you collect like very, 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 very heavy armor, and you also collect several items, several trash items that don't weigh. This one weighs 0.1. All the trash items from Sausans weigh 0.3. It's a nightmare. It's cancer basically playing at Sausans. And this is by the way, this was on a character that has all the weight limit both. I bought all of them, and four maids, 2 storage, and 2 marketplace, and I was constantly selling my heaviest stuff. I was any Grunel armor, chest armor I get, I would sell it using the maids. I would keep transferring any trash, you know, using 2 maids. 4 maids, full weight limit increases, and I would still, and I would not last more than 30 minutes, and not even the main rotation. I'm talking about this one here, the beach, this wall. This rotation, this is not the main rotation, less than 30 minutes grinding, I am already over the weight limit. It was cancer, to be honest. Gehaz was absolutely no. I mean, I rode once with my horse, and I saw 2 red people there, and it was like all the main rotations were taken, all the side and main, all the rotations at Gehaz were taken already, so I just left right away. I didn't try Bashim, but I don't think it would be very efficient. I didn't try Desert Nagas, and I know for a fact it would be worse than Gehaz probably. I heard from, you know, like reports, Crescent Shrine was okay, but it needs a ride. You have to take a camel from here and go all the way down. And the Fogans, yeah, it's another desert ride. You have to go to Valencia and then take a camel all the way south. I didn't want to do either, to be honest. But apparently they were okayish. They weren't so bad. Gahaz and Sawsons and Schultz, I mean, were the worst in my opinion. Very, very bad. This was also overcrowded, but you know, you could, as I said, you could squeeze yourself. This was pretty decent, and there are several rotations, several small rotations where you can just mind your own business. So you could, you know, kind of make it work, but I think you definitely need about 200 AP to make this more efficient, because with my 184, I don't think it was very good, but it worked better than Chira, okay? So even though I have 184, much higher than this AP, but because of how overcrowded this is and because of the way the mobs are scattered around, this worked better for me. But by far the best performance, to my surprise, the best performance was Fadus. And I think it kind of works like the Sawson's main rotation, but without the cancer, without the weight limit cancer. You know, you don't get the same problem because there's only pretty much one main trash. Well, there is this one, but yeah, this is not trash. But yeah, there is one main trash, and as you can see, it's 0.1, and you can transfer 1,000 using if you have a maid. So this was much better. I love this. My experience with the Fadus was just brilliant. You know, I have to say, I love the efficiency. I loved how the weight limit is okay. It's just like decent. So yeah, if you have a, you know, a couple of maids, or even one, I would say one storage maid would make this one work out. Also, if you have the tent, you don't need any storage maids. If you got the tent, it could, you know, work out too. You have a tent. So yeah, basically it. Is that for future reference? This is how you know, how it performed for me. Okay, so best performance, and it is also for future reference. Once again, I already said, but for future reference, once again, this is even though the event says 1,000 experience, 1,000, you're getting 1,000. Do not think that this is 11 times or 10 times or even 5 times. It's not. It's a maximum 4 times, but mainly it's just 3 times the experience, 3 times the normal combat experience that you would be getting. That's what it is. 3 times the normal combat experience that we'd be getting. You know, 1,000 experience event. All right, so that's what it is about. You could probably, I don't know, get to 3.5, maybe some people 4 if they have like some insane bonuses and gear and stuff, but I think it's just 3 times for you know, the average. For the most of us are probably gonna just get 3 times more. So this is basically it. This is this event and my experience with it and the different zones, my own sort of verdict on how it went. Is it worth it? You know, your mileage will vary, as the saying goes. I would say if you think that you would want to save, for example, because what does it mean 3 times more experience? It means that what you would do in 3 hours, you would be able to do in 1 hour. So saving, you know, 2/3 of your time, it's up to you. It's really subjective. This is personal or subjective. It's up to you whether it's worth your time. If they ever do a similar event in the future, I don't know. But it would be worth it if you think that saving 2/3 of your time, saving 2 hours in every 3 hours of grinding, is it worth your time? It's up to you. I'm still really, you know, unsure. What am I gonna do? Am I gonna keep playing the game in the long run or not? What I feel right now is, and by the way, just before I go on, I'm not streaming publicly right now. I'm streaming privately, so this is why the views on these specific series, the whole series of the 1,000 experience event, they all have very low views because I'm streaming privately. I do intend, once I'm done, well, you know, shortly, hopefully, I'll just make the streams public. But yeah, for now they're just private, and I just didn't want anyone to watch the stream and then come grief, because you can see where people are. You can see the channel here at the bottom, at the top right corner. EU Commerce 4. You can, and you know it's on the EU side, and you know the server, and you know the channel from the number. So yeah, I didn't want anyone to just see that and come grieving or something like that. So you know how some people are, especially with with my channel name. Anyway, so I'm still thinking. I still don't know whether I'm gonna play this game in the long run, or uh, I still am kind of recovering from what I discovered a couple of weeks ago or something. Basically, at the point when I stopped playing regularly, I'm still recovering from what I discovered. That basically that the gambling aspect, that the enhancement system in the game is the perfect gambling environment. It's trying to emulate gambling environment. So it's a perfect virtual gambling environment. And I used to think that this is a byproduct. A byproduct as in it's not like the intended product. It's just kind of like, pollution. It's kind of like, I thought, for example, a factory produces, let's say, oil, okay? The main product is oil. A byproduct would be something like, I don't know, tar or something like that. Something like a chemical, a chemical that pollutes the environment. So a byproduct is, the pollution. It's the toxic material and so on. So they didn't intend to produce it, but it's just an inevitable byproduct of the process itself of producing the main product, which is the oil. In this case, so I always thought that gambling is the byproduct of the random number generator, tool, the RNG. But what I discovered after enhancing, like really seriously for the second time and failing a lot, is that this is not a bad byproduct. The gambling aspect of it is not it's the product. It is the product of the whole thing. And this is why they do not, this is why also the developers do not put any control over the RNG. The RNG runs free. They give the RNG free reign. This is not how the players came to know the random number generator or the RNG as RNGesus. They call it RNGesus and pray to RNGesus so you can get a better luck and so on. I think 99% of the players don't know this. They do not know that the developers effectively turned the random number generator into a deity. They have turned the RNG into an unconditionally powerful entity. It literally runs the whole thing. There is no control over it. And it seems that this is intentional, because when you do not put any control over the RNG, over the random number generator, you create the perfect gambling environment. Everything is left to random chance. And at the same time, this makes the RNG too powerful, like, super powerful, in my opinion. For as far as this world here and the game is concerned, RNG is the deity. And it's some players, as I said, they call it RNG as sort of like as a joke, but it's actually half a joke, half serious. And I think it's also the deity for Pearl Abyss. It's almost like Pearl Abyss worships the random number generator. You know what? I'm not kidding. You know why? Because, well, it brings them their money. From their perspective, from Pearl Abyss, the decision makers in Pearl Abyss, they consider that the random number generator is the one that brings them the money. It's the one that makes players keep buying more and more and more, especially gamblers. So if someone is sending you money, some people consider this like almost like a deity. If something has the power to send you money or not, it's almost like a deity, especially from an Islamic perspective. From an Islamic perspective, Muslims are obligated to, not obligated, but it's like basically it is kind of an obligation, but at the same time it's the inevitable sort of belief that you have to work to make money, of course, but the one who sends you the money is actually God. The Muslims believe that yes, you do work, you have to go to work, you have to go to a job, but the one that really ultimately sends you the money as a reward for your effort is God. Um, an example of why is because, for example, anything can happen. You could go to work, but the company would go bankrupt at the end of the month when you're supposed to get your the salary for your 30 days of hard work. A company can go bankrupt and simply tell you, so the company is not evil, they simply went bankrupt. They tell you, we cannot pay you. I mean, we would love to pay you, but we went bankrupt, we can't pay you anymore. So something like that could happen. Many things can happen in life. So ultimately, the one who gives permission and makes things work out fine in the end is God, at least in the Islamic. So this is why it's also it's a sort of a humbling concept. So don't think that you worked so hard, so that's why you're rich. Don't think that way. Be humble and realize that ultimately, um, the one who facilitated all this, the one who kind of made your efforts successful in bringing the reward is God. Because another idea is, farmers. This also comes from like ancient times where you could plant the seeds, okay, and you work so hard on your land, but something happens. Fire, flood, flood basically floods the plants and the plants are dead. Your whole field is dead because of water. Or the opposite, a drought, no rain, so the plants die. um, Insect, a plague, some sort of a plague from insects and what have you. So you could plant, so you could do the effort, but then something happens and your efforts go in vain. They get wasted. So once again, there are countless examples like this in life, but ultimately the idea is that it's God who makes things happen in the end. It's God who makes your efforts successful. So it's in your best interest to basically remember this and give thanks to God, and at the same time, be humble. It humbles you as a. So this is the Islamic perspective. It's God who actually ultimately sends you the money. So basically, when an entity sends you the money, it's almost like godlike. It's almost like a deity, like a creator. So, and I think even though Pearl Abyss are not Muslims, Korean, I don't kind of religion they follow, but of course it's a company, so there are like varied beliefs and all that, of course. But I it's a safe guess to say 99% of the decision makers in Pearl Abyss are not Muslim. um so yeah, even though they are not Muslim, I think the concept still applies, because if 2 billion people, like 1.7 1.8 billion people in the world today are estimated to be Muslim. If 1.8 billion kind of at least most of them, or some of them, believe that when that it is God who ultimately sends you the money and so on, then the idea, does make sense, at least on a subconscious level, to a certain percentage of humans. And I think when Pearl Abyss made the random number generator so limitless, so powerful, uncontrolled, it gave it free reign. It ultimately made it deity. It made it its own deity. It's almost like they worship the random number generator because it sends them. And that's what I mean. And the players, some of them are almost going to worship the RNG because they really think that the random number generator has the power to give them money or not, to give them silver, in-game silver or not, to give them powerful items or not. What is an entity? What is an all-powerful entity that can give you very, very powerful things or not? It's kind of like it's a deity, isn't it? Sort of godlike entity. So yeah, the players treat it that way. I'll call it RNGesus because of that. It almost has the power to give you something or not, to give you a very powerful weapon or not. And Pearl Abyss, on the other hand, probably also consider it their own deity because it's the one that sends them the money. It's the one that makes players keep spending more and more. Of course, players spend on a few things that don't rely on RNG. For example, this outfit, I didn't buy it from the Pearl. I was lucky enough to get it on the marketplace. But this, you just pay and you get it. There is no like randomness generated. So there are a few items like this. However, when it comes to even the pets that you can buy, in order to get tier 3 or whatever, Yeah, I've got tier 2. Yeah, so this one was bad luck. I got two cats, and I got, instead of getting a tier 3, I got a tier. And in order to get, and there's tier 4. So tier 3 isn't even the best. But yeah, to get higher tiers and to get tier 3, you have to keep buying pets. And there's always a chance, as you can see, there's always a chance that you can buy 2 pets and you try to, you level them up to level 10 and you kind of mash them together. There's always a chance that you get a tier 2 instead of a tier 3. And now, if I'm not saying I'm gonna do that, but if I would, try to get a tier 4 one day, then I have to get a tier 3. And a tier 3, if you mash tier 3 together, you have a much higher chance of getting a tier 4 pet than mashing a tier 2 and a tier 3. So now this tier 3 is reducing my chances to get a tier 4 in the future. This is how it works for all these players who keep buying pets and stuff. There's always the chance that you can get something bad, which means you will have to pay more and more in order to reach that goal of getting this highest tier or whatever. So even when it comes to something like pets and the enhancement system, in my video where I say in my video titled exposing the enhancement system for what it is, a gambler's milking device, in that video I show you in detail how the enhancement system works. Part not boss, I didn't even use boss items. I was using an item like this one on for my striker. So yeah, but I kind of show you how it works, and I show you that the random number generator has free reign, and it keeps milking players. It keeps milking, not just for silver but for their time. Silver in this game means time, more and more time that you have to keep grinding, do these mind-numbing, like I was doing this mind-numbing exercise of running around in a station, keep killing the same mobs over and over again for 6 hours. 6 hours today, or how long is left? Almost 6 hours. Over 5 hours today I was doing this, and I have to say it's just mind-numbing, really mind-numbing. Some players keep doing this all the way. So this is mind-numbing. Hitting 60 was mind-numbing for me. Imagine hitting 63. Insane. It's insane. And all of this, and some of what they do is because of silver wasting billions wasted on trying to get a pen. If this was if this were a boss weapon, boss item, like the highest, like the top tier, it would be about billions. Try to get it, to pen. Yeah, get it from that, and it goes down to try, and it goes down to duo, and goes down to pry, and then back to tet, and then down to pry again, and then up to pen after, I don't know, 10 15 times of trying. It keeps going back and forth, like, goes from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1, and then up to 2 and up to 3, and then back to 1, and then up to 2 and 3 and 4, and then down to 3 2 1, and so on and so forth, almost endlessly. The theory is, theoretically, this can keep on going forever. A player can have a tet weapon, and they try to push it up to pen forever, and they would never, theoretically speaking, they would never ever hit pen, theoretically speaking. You see what I mean? They would just keep going, because that's how the RNG is. This is how the random number generator is. Even if your chance is 90% chance of success, you can keep trying 100 times and fail 100 times in a war. I know it's unlikely in this case, but it can happen. That's how the RNG works. It can happen. So, and on the other hand, it never, when it comes to pen, it never goes up to 90%. Of course, I think the maximum you can get is like 25% or something like that. So yeah, maybe even less. I think for pen it's less than 10. I don't remember, and I don't care anyway, but just kind of explaining the concept. So yeah, I discovered that all of this enhancement, a lot of how the RNG works in a lot of it is intentional, and it's intentional to produce the perfect gambling environment. The gambling aspect of it is not a byproduct, it's the product. And when I found this out, when I finally realized it, when it dawned on me, I was sick in my stomach that that we are creating such beautiful worlds. Some of you might have heard me talking about this game before, and how it's a technical triumph and amazing being able to move in such a map with no loading screens, and the graphics are amazing, and the combat mechanics are just so fun. That's how I talk about this game. So all this beauty is wrapping for a casino. Ultimately, it's wrapping. It's literally beautiful wrapping for a gift. You know, imagine, and the gift is a casino. They're putting you in a casino. And when I buy, even if I don't, even so, someone might say, well, you don't have to enhance. You just buy your gear. That's the thing. You are a part of the system, whether you like it or not. When you are buying, I didn't buy this one, but when I bought this one or bought this one, I paid a gambler for their efforts. Do you understand? You see what I mean? I paid a gambler. I bought all of these. These ones, I bought them. And I bought this one, I believe. I bought them. That's what I did. I bought them from a marketplace. Who was I paying? I was paying a gambler. I was paying someone who is using the Grunel armor to as a fail stacking device. And instead of failing on a try, they succeeded. So they said, okay, I'm just gonna sell it. I'm just gonna sell this. I didn't really want to get a TET. I was just trying to get a fail stack. But you know, I might as well make money since I succeeded. So yeah, a gambler was sitting there doing fail stacking and you know all that business to get their boss item up, and instead of failing, they succeeded. So they sold it to me. They put it on the marketplace, and I won the bid. I took it. So who did I pay? I paid a gambler. I rewarded a gambler for their efforts. I saved the gambler some money. Obviously, the gambler is wasting so much silver over and over again, but I saved them some money by paying for their efforts, by basically feeding their gambling. So I'm part of the system. I am feeding the gambling. You are feeding the gambling if you are paying your if you're buying your gear off the marketplace. You're feeding it. You're part of the system whether you like it or not. And that idea just made me sick to my stomach, especially because gambling is one of the greater sins in Islam. It is forbidden. It's basically it's up there: drinking alcohol, gambling, and fornication slash adultery. Well, adultery is worse, of course. Adultery is if you've been married and you commit fornication, or basically you sleep with someone without being married to them, but after having been married, that's adultery. If you do it and you have never been married, it's fornication. Adultery is worse than fornication, but both of them are big sins, greater sins: adultery, fornication, drinking alcohol, gambling. Um, um, Eating pork, all of these, you know, they're big sins. Oh yeah, and that's what kind of made me sick in my stomach to realize that the gambling is just not a byproduct, man. It's the main thing. It's the main thing. No matter what I do, I'm part of the goddamn system. No matter what I do. If I enhance, then I'm gambling. And if I don't enhance and I buy my gear, then I'm paying a gambler. Uh, yeah. I'm basically, these are my thoughts. I talked about this in my video titled Exposing the Enhancement System for What It Is. And I talked about it again now. And these are my thoughts. This is why I'm just torn between quitting this game and playing it. And it's just it really saddens me. I mean, I was playing, but I was playing now because it saves time, and I do value my time. If I'm gonna keep playing this game, you know, I don't want to miss out a chance to save, you know, 2 hours for every 1 hour of grinding, especially when grinding is so mind numbing, you know. So that's why I was playing today for 5 hours, and yesterday for 6 hours, and yesterday and the day before for 6 hours. That's why I put all these hours into leveling, you know, my two main characters into level 60. That's why I did this, to save any future time. If I'm gonna keep playing this game, I want to save my future. That's the only reason I really played. I kept playing, you know, without really talking about this. But am I actually gonna play? And I still don't know. I'm still torn between. It's hard for me to feel like, you know, I'm part of the system. I'm part of a gambling system, whether I like it or not. Playing in a beautiful casino. Beautiful, really is. God, the way they designed the game. 59. But yeah, all this beauty is just beautiful casino with all of it. What good is it? Beautiful casino. Of course, casinos are beautiful. Make them look nice. They make them smell nice. Everything. So I want you to stay there all day long, paying. The house always the rule. All this light coming from the wall. Guessing it's there, but that's not what it looks. But yeah, that's my main point really, that wrapping is about. Ah, yeah, but uh, I was grateful if I'm gonna keep the game somehow. I've said, considering that it's 6 hours a day times days, 18 hours. Let's say 16 is two. Let's say 2 hours were downtime. 15 hours times three. Basically, well, times two. So basically, if I'm gonna keep playing, I save myself 32 hours of grinding. 32 hours, because whatever I did is would have been, whatever I did would have been multiplied by three. The time I spent would have been multiplied by three if I am to do the same thing without this event. So if I would say I use 16 hours from these total of 18 hours in 3 days, then multiply this by, the total time is 16 times 3, which is what, 48 hours. It would have taken me 48 hours. Instead of 48 hours, I did it in 16. So I saved myself basically 32. I saved myself 32 hours, and these hours definitely worth it for me. The feeling that I saved this time is definitely worth it for me. But of course, from another perspective, it's all waste of time. A game, and it's a game in a basically in a world that is infested by this parasite called the gambling, the random number generator. Because it becomes it's just so bizarre. The random number generator in and of itself is a benign entity, as in, it doesn't really harm. I mean, if you use it to basically calculate critical hits, that's fine. If you use it to calculate dodges, like if a rogue has a 20, has 50% dodge chance, in order to calculate, or to basically give the result of when he dodges and when he doesn't dodge, you use a random number generator, that's fine. You know, you use it for dodges, use it um, for critical hits. You know, all classes, you know, they can do critical hits in order to calculate, like, you know, to basically determine whether this is a critical hit or not. You can use a random number generator, it's fine. But once you take it from this implementation, once you take the random number generator, the RNG, once you take it out of this implementation, this benign or, you know, kind of interesting implementation that makes the game, you know, it's just, you know, interesting, more interesting, unpredictable, and so on. Once you take it out of this context and you apply it in a system like this one here, what Black Desert Online, what Pearl Abyss did with Black Desert Online, it becomes a parasite. All of a sudden, you know, you take out this entity from its original use, its original benign or interesting use, and you put it into microtransactions and chests and enhancing, you know, like basically progress. You make it, instead of making the progress purely based on time investment in the game and skill, ideally I would have said skill. You know, if I had control, I would say, you know, progress needs to be 50% time investment and 50% skill. Instead of making progress, you know, instead of making that's the determining factor of progress. No, you suddenly made progress itself bottlenecked, blocked by the RNG system, and all of a sudden it became a parasite. It used to be an interesting sort of benign entity, but applying it on progress turned it into very yeah. Adam's where it all as it all comes back to me. Turned all this complexity, beauty into such an ugly, parasitic thing for greed, you know, and not just for greed, but also for mischief. Not that's not mischief, that's evil. Mischief is just being naughty, you know, without like really intending to cause harm. But this is different. This is evil. This is pure evil. Intending to cause harm because you are feeding on the weakness of gamblers, you know, basically humans susceptible to gambling, and you are turning normal humans, normal people who, you know, weren't that interested in gambling, you're turning them into gamblers if they persist and if they keep participating in the system, especially if they enhance themselves. And once they start enjoying enhancing, that's it, too late. It became gambling. Ah. Forgot to check before leaving. I wanted to see how much experience I gained during the event at level 6, where it was other zones. I mean, over in half an hour, but out of curiosity. Anyway, I'll put noise back and start the tracking. Alright guys, that's it. I am also done kind of just testing the experience gained at 60 with these guys, the Fattest, and just gonna stop the stream here and go do some university work before I sleep. So that's all in terms of this event and my thoughts about the game and all that. I hope that I'll stream again. I mean, if I'm gonna stop playing the game, I'll still create some sort of video, kind of share some tips and what I learned about the game. Because if I stop playing for even 6 months, I think I return, I feel lost and forget everything. So even for myself, if I'm gonna play it again in the future, I'll just put some sort of video to kind of share everything I've learned about the game so far, what I know about it and stuff like that, if I will stop playing. Otherwise, I'll see you for the next stream, guys, and that's all. Until then, stay safe, rational, intelligent, and question almost everything. Thank you.